My daughter slid the envelope across the Thanksgiving table as if she were doing me a favor. $48,000 a year, Vanessa announced loudly enough for all 13 people in the dining room to hear. Benefits after 90 days. Uncle Raymond said they're desperate for reliable warehouse supervisors. Nobody touched their food. I stared at the envelope beside my plate. Then Raymond's wife gave a small laugh. Vanessa smiled, and across the table, my younger brother Raymond raised his wine glass and said, "At least somebody finally found Dad something appropriate." I slowly reached into my jacket and touched the old silver tie clip hidden inside my pocket. Nobody at that table knew why I still carried it, not yet. Before I tell you what happened next, thank you to everyone who keeps coming back for these stories. If you're new here, like and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. And wherever you're listening from today, tell me your city or country in the comments. Now, back to that Thanksgiving table. My name is Daniel Mercer. I was 63 years old, divorced, and apparently, according to my family, a man who had failed to understand when his best days were behind him. Vanessa had invited me to Thanksgiving at Raymond's new house outside Philadelphia. The place had marble floors, 12-foot windows, and a dining table so long Raymond joked that we needed phones to speak to each other. Raymond loved jokes like that, especially when they reminded everyone how successful he had become. He was vice president of operations at Halston Manufacturing, a company with factories across 6 states. I had spent most of my life working quietly, too quietly perhaps. 3 years earlier, I had sold my small consulting business. I never discussed the amount. After the divorce, I moved into a modest 2-bedroom house, drove an 8-year-old truck, and stopped wearing expensive suits. Vanessa decided this meant I was broke. I allowed her to believe it. That was my mistake. "Dad," she said, tapping the envelope, "you can't keep pretending everything is okay." I didn't know I was pretending. Her face tightened. "Your house needs work. Your truck is embarrassing. You barely travel. Mom says you refuse to help with my wedding deposit." There it was. The real reason. 6 months earlier, Vanessa had asked me for $60,000 toward a wedding she was planning at a resort in Italy. I offered $10,000. She called it insulting. Raymond leaned forward. "Daniel, pride doesn't pay bills." A few people chuckled. I looked around the table. My sister avoided my eyes. My nephew suddenly became very interested in his mashed potatoes. Only Raymond's teenage daughter, Lily, looked uncomfortable. Then Vanessa pushed the envelope closer. "I already told them you'd interview Monday." I looked at her. "You applied for a job in my name? I helped you." "No. You decided what my life should look like without asking me." Her cheeks reddened. Raymond sighed dramatically. "There you go again, always making everything difficult." Something inside me changed. Not anger. Clarity. I folded the envelope once and placed it beside my plate. "I'll go." Vanessa blinked. Raymond smiled triumphantly. "Good. Maybe this will finally humble you." I almost smiled. Almost. Because Monday morning, I walked into the glass headquarters of Halston Manufacturing, wearing the old silver tie clip I had kept hidden for 11 years. The receptionist looked at it, then at me. Her expression changed. "Mr. Mercer?" Before I could answer, the elevator doors opened. An elderly man in a charcoal suit stepped out with 3 executives behind him. Raymond was among them. He saw me and grinned. But the elderly man stopped walking. His face went pale. "Daniel?" Raymond's smile disappeared. The man hurried toward me and grabbed my hand with both of his. "My God," he whispered. "We've been trying to find you for 11 years. Then he turned toward my brother, and Raymond suddenly looked terrified. Raymond's face changed the moment the old man said my name, not because he recognized me, because his chairman did. "Daniel Mercer," the elderly man repeated, still gripping my hand. "Where have you been?" I glanced at Raymond. His mouth was slightly open. "I've been around, Arthur." Arthur Halston laughed once, but there was emotion behind it. 11 years, Daniel, 11 years. Raymond stepped forward. "Mr. Halston, you know my brother?" Arthur slowly turned toward him. "Your brother?" The hallway went silent. Raymond forced a smile. "Yes, sir. Daniel is my older brother. He's actually here about the warehouse supervisor opening. Arthur stared at him. Then he looked at me. Then back at Raymond. The warehouse supervisor opening. Raymond's confidence weakened. My niece said Daniel needed work. Arthur's expression hardened. I could almost see Raymond trying to understand why the chairman of Halston Manufacturing was looking at him like he had said something offensive. Arthur pointed toward the silver tie clip on my jacket. You still have it. I touched it. I told you I would. Raymond looked between us. What is that? Arthur answered before I could. A reminder of the worst mistake this company nearly made. Raymond stopped smiling. Years earlier, before Halston Manufacturing became the company it was today, Arthur had owned 3 struggling factories. One winter, the company was weeks away from shutting one of them down. Nearly 400 workers were about to lose their jobs. Arthur hired my consulting firm. For 9 months, I worked inside that factory. I found waste hidden in purchasing contracts, equipment being overcharged through a supplier, and senior managers approving deals that quietly drained millions from the company. But that wasn't the important part. The important part was what happened afterward. We saved the factory. Then I refused Arthur's offer to become an executive. He gave me the silver tie clip instead. Halston's first emblem, Arthur told Raymond. Only 12 were ever made. Raymond stared at it. Arthur continued, Your brother helped save this company before you ever worked here. I saw Raymond swallow. But Daniel never mentioned any of this. No, Arthur said. That sounds exactly like Daniel. Raymond looked at me. For the first time in years, there was no mockery in his face. Only calculation. He was already wondering what else he didn't know. Arthur motioned toward the conference room. Come with me. Raymond started following us. Arthur stopped him. Not you. The words landed harder than shouting. Raymond froze. I have a meeting with Daniel. Then Arthur closed the conference room door behind us. Inside, he poured coffee with shaking hands. I thought you disappeared because of what happened with Marcus. I looked at him sharply. I hadn't heard that name in years. Arthur. His face became serious. You still don't know, do you?
Know what?
He opened a drawer and removed a thick brown envelope. My name was written across the front, Daniel Mercer. This was supposed to reach you 11 years ago. I didn't touch it. Who sent it? Arthur hesitated. Your former business partner. My stomach tightened. Marcus Vale had been more than my partner. He had been my best friend. And 11 years earlier, he vanished after accusing me of stealing money from our own company. The accusation nearly destroyed my reputation. I spent years proving I had done nothing wrong. By the time the truth became unclear rather than settled, my friendship with Marcus was dead. My marriage had started breaking apart, and I walked away from the company we had built together. Arthur pushed the envelope toward me. Marcus came here 3 days before he disappeared. I stared at him. He came here? He told me someone had manipulated the financial records. My fingers went cold. Who? Arthur shook his head. He wouldn't tell me. He said he needed proof first. I finally opened the envelope. Inside were photocopied financial documents, old bank transfers, company contracts, and one handwritten note. Daniel, if you are reading this, I was right. The money was never stolen by you. Someone wanted us to destroy each other. Under the note was a list of transfers. I followed them down the page. One company name appeared repeatedly. Then I saw the signature approving the account. My breath stopped. It was a name I knew. Raymond Mercer. My younger brother. Before I could speak, the conference room door opened. Raymond stood there. He looked at the papers in my hand, and for 1 second, the fear on his face told me everything. Then he smiled. Daniel, he said quietly, we need to talk before you believe something you don't understand. Raymond closed the conference room door behind him. Daniel, you need to understand what happened. I placed Marcus's papers on the table. I've spent 11 years trying to understand. Arthur remained standing near the window. Raymond glanced at him. Can we speak privately? No, I said. Raymond's jaw tightened. The company on those transfers belonged to a friend. I introduced Marcus to him. That's all. Arthur picked up one of the documents. That isn't all. He pointed to a signature. You personally authorized 3 payments. Raymond went pale. I remembered those years clearly. Marcus accusing me, my clients disappearing, my wife begging me to stop fighting everyone, Raymond sitting in my kitchen one night saying, "Maybe you should just accept that Marcus betrayed you." He had comforted me while helping destroy me. Why? I asked. Raymond looked down, then something ugly finally surfaced. You always had everything. I almost laughed. What? Dad respected you. Mom trusted you. Everyone asked Daniel for advice. Daniel fixed the business. Daniel saved the deal. His voice rose. I was always your little brother. Arthur stared at him. So you ruined his company. I didn't plan for it to go that far. Raymond admitted he had expected Marcus to suspect me temporarily. He wanted our partnership fractured. He wanted me embarrassed. Then Raymond hoped some of my clients would move toward companies connected to his associates. But Marcus discovered the hidden transfers. That was when everything became dangerous. Where is Marcus? I asked. Raymond shook his head. I don't know. Arthur quietly opened another folder. I do. Raymond froze. A man entered the conference room. Older, gray-haired, walking with a cane. Marcus Vale. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. I'm sorry, Daniel, he said. He explained that after discovering Raymond's involvement, he had feared the fraud extended farther than he understood. He left, gathered records, and eventually helped federal investigators uncover several financial schemes connected to Raymond's associates. But one decision haunted him. He had accused me before checking the facts. I destroyed our friendship before Raymond ever finished the job, Marcus said. Raymond backed toward the door. Arthur stopped him. Security is downstairs. Raymond's face collapsed.
You're firing me?
Arthur looked almost offended. You used company relationships to conceal fraudulent transactions. But I helped build this place. No, Arthur replied. You worked here. Then he looked at me. Daniel helped save it. Weeks later, Raymond resigned before the board formally terminated him. Investigators reopened the old financial records, and several of his former associates faced charges. But my revenge wasn't watching Raymond lose his title. It came on Thanksgiving the following year. Vanessa invited me to dinner. This time, there was no mansion, no long table, no jokes about my truck. Raymond sat quietly near the end, unemployed and waiting for his court case to begin. Vanessa approached me before dinner.
Dad, I owe you an apology. I looked at her. I treated you like your worth came from money. She handed me the same envelope from the previous Thanksgiving.
The $48,000 job offer. I kept it. I opened it. Inside was no job application, only a handwritten note. I'm sorry I humiliated you. I folded it carefully. Then I removed the old silver tie clip from my pocket and placed it beside my plate. Raymond stared at it. A year earlier, he had laughed while Vanessa tried to give me a job beneath the authority he believed made him important. Now he understood what the little piece of silver meant. Not wealth, not revenge. Proof that quiet people sometimes carry histories louder than the people mocking them. Vanessa asked, "Can you forgive us?" I looked around the table. Some people had laughed that first Thanksgiving. Some had stayed silent. Some had looked away. I can forgive, I said. But forgiveness does not mean pretending it never happened. Raymond lowered his eyes, and for the first time, nobody rushed to rescue him from the silence. I picked up my fork. Now, I said, can somebody pass the potatoes? Laughter moved gently around the table. Not cruel laughter, different laughter. And as dinner continued, I realized Raymond had been wrong about one thing. Humility had finally arrived. He had simply offered it to the wrong brother.